Let's learn!
Smash! The cold iron hammer struck the sharp chisel, sending a wave of bright, burning pain through the solid rock. The story of the two stones had begun, and it was a story of pain, choices, and destiny. High up on the silent, windy peak of the great green mountain, two giant rocks sat side by side. They had been sitting there for thousands of years. The sun warmed their hard backs in the summer, and the thick white snow covered them like a blanket in the winter. The two stones were brothers. The first stone was named Gray. He was large, wide, and very heavy. Gray loved to sleep. He hated being bothered by the wind, and he hated when birds landed on his head. The second stone was named White. White was also large and strong, but he was a dreamer. While Gray slept, White looked down at the tiny village at the bottom of the mountain. He saw humans walking around, building houses and making beautiful things. "Gray, wake up," whispered a warm morning. The morning mist was thick, and the air smelled like wet pine trees. "What do you want?" Gray grumbled. He did not open his eyes. "I am tired." "Look down there," White said, his voice full of hope. "Look at the humans. They take things from the earth and make them beautiful. I wonder if they will ever come up here for us. I want to be something important. I want to be useful." Gray laughed a deep, rumbling laugh that sounded like a small earthquake. "You are a fool, White. We are rocks. We are meant to sit here and do nothing. Doing things means moving. Moving means pain. I just want to be left alone." White did not agree. He looked up at the bright blue sky and made a silent wish. He wanted a purpose. He wanted to change. But change, as White would soon learn, is never easy. Months passed. The wild winds blew and the rain washed the dirt off the two giant stones. One bright Tuesday morning, a strange sound came up the mountain path. Crunch, crunch, crunch. It was the sound of heavy boots stepping on dry leaves. Soon, an old man appeared. He had a long silver beard and wore a thick leather apron. His hands were covered in rough calluses. Behind him walked a young boy pulling a strong wooden cart. "This is the place, Leo," the old man said, wiping sweat from his forehead. "The mayor wants a grand statue for the center of the new temple. It must be perfect. It must be made of the finest mountain stone." The old man walked up to Gray and White. He took a small metal hammer from his belt. Ding! He tapped Gray. Ding! He tapped White. The old man smiled, his eyes wrinkled with joy. "These two are perfect," he told the boy. "They are brothers of the same earth. We will take them both to the workshop. One will be the statue, and the other can be used for the temple floor." Using heavy ropes and thick wooden logs, the old man and the boy tied up the two giant stones. "What is happening?" shouted Gray in panic as the ropes squeezed him tightly. "I do not want to go. Leave me alone." "Be brave, brother," said White, feeling scared but excited. "This is our chance." The journey down the mountain was terrible. The cart bumped over tree roots and deep holes. Every time the cart bounced, the stones smashed against the wood. Gray complained the entire way down. He cried, he yelled, and he hated every second of it. White just stayed quiet and looked up at the blue sky, trying to ignore the bumpy ride. When they finally arrived at the workshop, the air was filled with thick white dust. The smell of crushed rocks was everywhere. The old master placed both giant stones in the center of the room. "I will start with this one," the master said, pointing his rough finger at Gray. "He is slightly wider. He will make a fine, strong statue." Gray felt a sudden rush of fear. The master picked up a heavy iron hammer and a very sharp, pointy tool called a chisel. "What is he going to do with that?" whispered Gray to White. Before White could answer, the master placed the sharp tip of the chisel against Gray's chest. He raised the heavy hammer high into the air. Smash! The hammer hit the chisel. The sharp metal bit deeply into Gray's hard skin. A chunk of rock flew into the air and hit the floor. "Ah, stop!" Gray screamed. A burning, terrible pain shot through his entire body. It felt like fire. It felt like his heart was breaking into a million pieces. The master raised the hammer again. Smash! Smash! "No, no more! It hurts too much!" Gray cried. He could not stand the pain. He did not want to be a statue anymore. He just wanted to be safe. Because stones have a secret magic, they can control how hard they are on the inside. Gray made a choice. He decided to give up. He pushed his energy away from the chisel and made his inside very brittle and weak. When the master hit him the fourth time, a huge, ugly crack ran all the way down Gray's face. Crack! The master stopped. He wiped his sweaty forehead and sighed deeply. He looked very sad. "What a shame," the master told the boy, Leo. "This stone looked strong on the outside, but it is weak on the inside. It cannot handle the pressure of the chisel. It breaks too easily. We cannot use this for the statue. Push it into the corner." The boy rolled Gray into a dark, dusty corner. Gray took a deep breath. He was cracked and a little broken, but he was happy. The pain was gone. "See, White?" Gray laughed from the dark corner. "I tricked him. I gave up, and now I do not have to feel that terrible pain anymore. You should do the same thing." The old master turned his tired eyes toward White. "Let us try the second stone," the master said. "I hope this one has a stronger heart." White felt his inside shake with fear. He had seen how much it hurt his brother. He knew the pain was going to be awful. But as the master placed the sharp chisel against his side, White remembered his dream. He wanted to be beautiful. He wanted to be useful. The master raised the heavy hammer. Smash! The pain was unbelievable. It was worse than 1,000 lightning strikes. A piece of White's rough outer layer fell to the floor. "Give up, White," Gray shouted from the corner. "Just crack yourself. Make yourself weak and he will stop." "No," White grunted, holding his insides as tight and strong as he could. "I will endure this." For the next 4 weeks, the workshop was a place of endless noise and pain. Clink, clank, smash. Day after day, night after night, the master worked. Sometimes the weather outside was terrible. Thunder roared and heavy rain hit the roof, but the master never stopped, and White never gave up. Every time the sharp chisel cut into him, White felt like crying. The master carved away his large, rough edges. He carved out a face. He carved out arms, a long robe, and gentle hands. There were moments when White felt so tired and in so much pain that he wanted to listen to his brother. He wanted to crack. He wanted the hitting to stop. But every time he felt like giving up, he thought about the end. "I am becoming something better," White told himself over and over again. "The master knows what he is doing. This pain is not here to destroy me. It is here to shape me." Finally, after a month of pain, the hammering stopped. The master put down his tools. He took a soft cloth and gently rubbed White's new surface. It was perfectly smooth. It didn't hurt anymore. White felt lighter, cleaner, and completely different. "Beautiful," the old master whispered, smiling with tears in his eyes. "You are my greatest work." The next day was a very important day. The mayor's guards came to the workshop to pick up the stones. First, they carefully wrapped White in a soft red silk cloth. They gently lifted him onto a special cart filled with soft hay. White felt like a king. Then 2 big, rough workers walked over to the dark corner where Gray was sleeping. "Hey, what are you doing?" Gray yelled as the workers tied thick ropes around him and dragged him across the hard dirt floor. "The master said to use this broken rock for the floor tiles," one worker said. They did not use small, careful chisels on Gray. They brought out massive, heavy sledgehammers. Wham! 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 The heavy hammers crashed down on Gray. There was no art, there was no gentle shaping. They just smashed him into flat, square pieces. It hurt terribly, but Gray could do nothing to stop it. He was broken into 20 flat squares and thrown into the back of a dirty truck. Both brothers were taken to the center of the town, to the newly built Grand Temple. White was placed on a tall, beautiful platform right in the center of the room. When the red silk cover was pulled away, the crowd gasped. The people clapped and cheered. White was now a stunning, magnificent statue of a wise hero. He looked brave and kind. But Gray, however, was mixed with wet mud and thick cement. He was slapped down flat onto the dirt floor, right at the entrance of the temple, directly in front of his brother's platform. Years went by. The Grand Temple became the most famous place in the city. Every single day, hundreds of people came to visit. They brought sweet-smelling flowers, lit bright candles, and placed gold and silver at the feet of the beautiful statue. They looked up at White with respect and love. But to get to the statue, every single person had to walk through the front door. Every day, dirty boots, wet shoes, and sharp heels stepped on the flat floor tiles. People dropped their heavy bags on the floor. Children spilled sticky drinks on the tiles. Stray dogs ran inside with muddy paws and scratched the floor. The floor tiles were gray. Gray was in pain every single day. He was dirty, stepped on, and completely ignored. Nobody looked down at him. They only looked up at his brother. One dark night, after the temple doors were locked and all the humans had gone home to sleep, the building was very quiet. The only light came from the glowing moon shining through the high windows. Gray could not hold his sadness in anymore. "It is not fair," Gray cried out from the cold floor. His voice was tired and full of bitterness. "White, are you awake?" "I am always awake, brother," White replied softly from his high platform. His voice was calm and gentle. "It is so unfair," Gray complained. "We came from the exact same mountain. We are made of the exact same stone. We even came down in the same cart. But look at us now. You stand up there, covered in fresh flowers and shiny gold. People bow to you. People take pictures of you. But me, I am down here in the dirt. People step on my face with their dirty shoes every single day. Why is the world so unfair to me?" There was a long silence in the dark temple. The moonlight shined brightly on White's smooth, smiling face. White looked down at his broken brother on the floor. He did not say it to be mean, but he had to tell the truth. "Brother," White said gently, his voice echoing in the quiet room, "do you remember the day in the workshop? Do you remember the sharp chisel?" "Of course I remember," Gray grumbled. "It hurt. I hated it." "Yes, it hurt," White agreed. "But when the master brought the sharp tools to you, you refused the pain. You gave up. You cracked yourself so he would stop hitting you. You took the easy way out because you did not want to suffer." Gray was quiet. He knew it was true. "When it was my turn," White continued, "it hurt me just as much as it hurt you. It was terrifying. Every cut felt like the end of the world. But I took the pain. I endured every single hit, every scratch, and every long, painful night. I trusted the process, and I held strong." White paused, letting the moonlight fall over both of them. "You refused the pain of the chisel back then, brother, and because you ran away from that temporary pain to become something great, now you must bear the pain of the muddy feet for the rest of your life." Gray had nothing to say. He looked up at the magnificent statue of his brother, and then he looked at his own flat, dirty surface. He finally understood. The pain of the chisel was the price of greatness. From that night on, Gray never complained again.
True greatness and success are never achieved without enduring hardship, discipline, and pain. When we face difficulties, we have two choices. We can give up and avoid the pain, or we can endure it to become a better version of ourselves. If you run away from the temporary pain of hard work and self-improvement today, you will suffer the permanent pain of regret and living an unfulfilled life tomorrow. The chisel may hurt, but it shapes you into a masterpiece.